Hello, happiness seekers. My name is Klaudia, and welcome to the part 3 of How to Achieve Vibrant Well-Being with Gut Brain Health. This month's happiness challenge has been inspired by Dana Chapman, nutritional therapist, who in episode 117 highlighted that actually our happiness starts in our gut. To improve the gut brain health, I have been testing out simple yet quite effective techniques as part of my pre meal routine that can help to stimulate the vagus nerve, so the nerve that connects gut and brain, to promote not only effective digestion but also that increased happiness. And these three ways were belly breathing and humming for a quick couple of minutes just before my meal, and practicing mindful eating during the meal. And you can learn more about these techniques of stimulating vagus nerve and much more in episode 118. But in this short episode, I'm sharing what I have learned so far. So join me. I'll be honest, this was one of the most difficult happiness challenge yet. Even though this method sounds really simple, I mean, pausing before my meal to breathe and hum and then eat mindfully, it was really, really difficult. I really feel like I have failed more often than succeeded because, first of all, I would forget to pause to breathe before my meal. If I was hungry, I really wanted to eat my food very quickly. Often I remembered, but halfway through the meal, thinking, oh no, I have done it again. I haven't paid attention to my food. And well, I already almost eaten all of it. So I definitely haven't improved that gut brain connection. So, to help me with my challenge, I decided to turn to the science of forming new habits. And this is actually what helped me to make that process of pausing and eating mindfully a bit easier. The first thing we know about building a new habit is that instead of hoping that we'll just remember to stick to our new habit because, hey, it's good for us, we need to introduce an obvious cue that will trigger our brain to choose that right habit, which means that we have to decide ahead of time that if X happens, then we will do Y. And at first, of course, I got this completely wrong because, again, I assumed that because this is something positive and beneficial for me, I will simply remember to do this. And it was only a couple of minutes before the meal and then slowing down during my meal. But the reality was that I was trying to change many years of eating in a certain way, frankly, of eating on autopilot for so many years. So actually, yes, the process got easier when I decided ahead of time that if I sit down at the table or pick up my cutlery, so those were my cues, then I will pause. And because those two cues are quite constant, generally I do need to pick up my cutlery to eat and I need to sit down, or I tend to sit down when I eat. Those two cues did help me to remember, oh, okay, let's pause. The second aspect that we know from the psychology of building a new habit is that we need to make the first step very easy. So, the less effort that the brain needs to put into taking the first step, then the more chances we have of sustaining that desirable behavior and engaging in the habit. So, I simplified the first step. So, I specifically said that, well, if I sit down or pick up my cutlery, so those were my cues, then I will pause and simply take 3 deep breaths and hum on one breath, so approximately 10 seconds before I start the meal. So, really simple 3 breaths, one hum. That's what I was aiming for. So again, then that became quite achievable. I was able to remember and do it quite easily. And finally, the third aspect of making a new habit is that we also need to simplify and be specific in the habit as much as possible. So, to make habits more manageable, it's very beneficial to apply the 2-minute rule, which means that we break down the habit into activity that can be completed quickly within 2 minutes. So I already simplified my first step, which I translated into 3 breaths and 1 hum. But I also felt like I need to be more specific and simplify the entire idea of mindful eating. Because what is mindful eating exactly? What does it mean to me? And I specifically wanted a mindful eating to be about slowing down. Because again, I do have a habit of eating quite quickly. So I wanted my mindful eating to be about slowing down, concentrating on my food, and savoring it a little bit longer. So during the meal, I decided that I will eat mindfully by putting my cutlery down 2 or 3 times to really chew and savor my food. So that's what my mindful eating became. I took it from quite big, maybe vague habit into, okay, I just need to put my cutlery down to take a pause during the meal. And if I do it 2, 3 times, then great, I achieved my goal. So this instantly became more specific and achievable. So these 3 insights, having a cue, making the first step easy, and simplifying the process, made it more achievable. But I still think that I'm on a journey of practicing this new habit. It just still takes some concentration, and I still have times when I don't necessarily concentrate on it and give it a full attention during the meal. However, I think it's a natural, because the issue of majority of positive habits is that they are based on that delayed return approach. We're not seeing the reward of doing it instantly. And of course, in this instance, that delayed return is against something very real, something very instant: hunger. So, of course, if I'm hungry, I want to eat my food quickly, and my brain is not necessarily appreciating that if I will pause, stimulate that vagus nerve, then I will experience more happiness later down the line. So, because of that disconnect, it's not, I think, as easy to engage in this specific habit. But again, I'm going to be continuing. I'm going to be spending more time on practicing it. And I do hope that those 3 shortcuts that I shared with you: have a cue, make the first step easy, and simplifying the process, will help you to build any positive habits that you're incorporating. Thank you again so much for listening. I really do hope that this month's happiness challenge inspired you to really consider gut brain health. Again, I don't think it's a topic that is highlighted often enough. I never really considered gut as such an important aspect of our overall happiness and well being. So, again, I do hope that you find this month's challenge and topic interesting. Let me know your insights. You can find me on LinkedIn, and remember to subscribe to my newsletter where I summarize the key information every month to really provide you with more insights and more practical advice. I see you in the next episode. Bye.